Hey, all, Chris Mystery Cleaning windows of the Fylde Coast. So, I wanted to answer a question from Johnny. Relates to a previous video that I did about customer. Excuse me. Red Bull gives you wings, but it also gives you flatulence. Excuse me anyway. Johnny's question basically relates to how do you sack off a customer, a customer. I'm assuming by the question you're having, you're asking how you deal with poor customers, and all that sort of jazz. So, basically, I have no problem in upsetting people, to be honest with you, especially if they are being an absolute cluster, and, messing me around. So ultimately, you do have to develop a bit of a thick skin when dealing with customers that are like that. Sometimes there is no matter being nice to them is gonna, sort of change that person. They just, came out of the womb an absolute ball bag, and they'll, probably leave this earth in a complete ball bag. And if that's the case, then ultimately I just say, we're not coming back. X, Y, and Z. These are the reasons why. And I suggest you find yourself another window cleaner. Thanks for your custom. All the very best. Done. And that's it. Move on. There have been cases in the past where I've let customers go and there has been nothing wrong other than the fact that we're not making particularly good amount of money in that area. So, where basically what happened was we used to have quite a substantial round down in Lytham, where we had a care home, we had a block of flats, and then a handful of other houses, sort of thing. And it was a profitable day. It was really good. With two guys, I'd have two guys go out and do the round. On that day I wouldn't work on the tools. I would do my books and bits and bats like that. And then what would happen is they would go off and do the windows, and they'd come back. All's well and good. And that day would yield around about 450 quid. Which is a good day. And obviously taking out the wages and all this sort of stuff, it was a profitable day for me. It was worth having. And then the care home relocated. They moved to an area that we don't do. It was like, effectively it closed down and moved all their residents and all that sort of stuff into another care home. And we weren't required, we weren't needed, so we lost out. And then the block of flats that we used to do, there was a fire. So ultimately it was just a bit like, okay, so we've gone from earning 450 odd quid down to, I think it was from memory, I think it was about 134 quid. And when you're only bringing in 134 quid and you've got two lads to pay, I wasn't making any money from it. So in all honesty, I had to find more customers on that round to backfill, if you like, and bump the numbers up. The only problem is that there was, in previous videos I've talked about, the older generation and these kinds of window cleaners that charge £4 front and back. There was an absolute abundance of that in that area, and I would get plenty of inquiries. Someone's flashing lights at me here. I would get plenty of inquiries, but ultimately, we charge a little bit more than a lot of other window cleaners do. Largely because obviously the distances we had to travel to get to Lytham, because obviously we had to balance the cost of fuel and all that sort of stuff, and it ultimately wasn't really worth doing, in all honesty, at that time. So ultimately, I decided we're just gonna get rid of that day, if you like. And the option presented itself where I could have quite easily just said to all of those customers, we're not coming back, or just not even say anything, walk off and just not turn up again. A lot of window cleaners operate like that, and they don't communicate. They just can't be bothered, or they're worried about the blowback that comes from it. The comeback where if you just stop talking to someone who you've had a a professional relationship with, then ultimately they're going to be a bit put out. So, and a lot of people don't want to confront that. So, but with me, I decided, as luck would have it, there was a young lad called Wade. At the time, he was about 18, not really sure really what he wants to do and all that sort of stuff. And he did come and work with me work for me, if you like, for about 6 months, 12 months. I think it was actually 12 months. He worked with me for a time. I trained him, etc. He knew what my standards were. We shared the same sort of ethos, if you like, about customer satisfaction standards, etc., and all that sort of jazz. And then ultimately from there, I offered. Wade was on about starting up his own little window cleaning round on his own. Have at it, mate. Have at it. There's plenty of money out there. So ultimately, I said to him, "Well, do you want this round?" It's 100. You think from memory, it was £134, something like that. It would yield, and I wanted 3 cleans for it. So I said to him, "Well, if you give me, I think it was 300. It was either 390 or 400 quid. I can't remember now." But I said, "Well, if you give me that, you can have this. You can have this round." And he took it over. He was like more than happy to have it. Got his own little van, got his own little sort of trolley system and all that sort of stuff. And just went with it. And that kid, honestly, keep an eye out for this guy. His name's Wade Agar. Honestly, keep an eye out for this kid. One day, if he keeps at it, be retired by the time he's my age. So proper little grafter. And so anyway, he's carried on. I've then basically gone back to the customer and been straight up and honest with them and said, "Look, I'm really, really sorry. We've had a lot of cancellations. We've lost out on these big commercial jobs which brought us down here. We're not making enough money. In fact, we're making a loss on this day, so I'm going to have to let you go. On the plus side, if you would be happy to go with Wade, then obviously, Wade worked with me. And obviously, the good thing about it is because Wade he lives in that area. So obviously, when he was working with me, I'd go and pick him up, then we'd go and clean Lytham, and I'd drop him off at home. So a lot of these customers already knew Wade. And ultimately, we were a bit like, "Oh yeah, okay, fine, blah blah." There was no ifs, buts, or whatever. And Wade took over, and as far as I'm aware, I mean, I was on the phone to him last night. He's still doing the same customers, etc. So all is well. And so the customer journey, if you like, has been positive throughout. So they were, it just left him in a better frame of mind. So that's an example of how. I've let the customer go, but I've kept kept things positive, if you like. So, but yeah, if you feel the need to sack a customer off because they're being unreasonable because of what they've done, because of their behaviour towards you, then ultimately you just got to be honest and just I personally would just turn around to him and say, "Yeah, I would suggest you find yourself another window cleaner, and just move on." To be honest with you, yeah. So, hope that answers your question, Johnny, mate, and wish you all the very best. And I'll see you guys all in another video. Just want to say a quick thank you as well to those of you that are taking the time to subscribe and support the channel. It really means a lot. And I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye now.